In alhamdulillah wa salat wa salam ala wa rasulullah. Let's before we begin today's lecture, let me catch us up to date on where we are. This is the class understanding the differences of the companions, how to learn from their mistakes. Remember, they were the best examples for us. Even their bad choices, even their mistakes in life serve as a lesson of learning for us as Muslims today. And we're talking about Ali and Aisha right now. The differences between the two. Where we stopped off at. Aisha, upon receiving the news of the murder of Uthman, she wanted avengement just like many other people did. She had requested for Ali to go ahead and seek vengeance for the murder, the brutal murder of Uthman immediately. But Ali gave her the response he gave to Muawiyah and others, that he first felt the need was to show solidarity, to let the rest of the Muslim world know that the Muslims companions, the companions of the Prophet, were united as one, to bring peace and solidarity amongst the community first. And then he would go after the people responsible for murdering Uthman. But that is not what Aisha or many others wanted. They wanted him to address that situation first. And when Ali refused, Aisha told him, well, you need to step down. If you're not going to address the murder of Uthman, then step down as Caliph. Let somebody else take over who will. She said, and since you won't address it, then we, the citizens, the other Muslims of the world, we will address it. And so she gave a fiery speech from Mecca, which brought about support of most of the people in Mecca because they were of the same view of avengement for Uthman's murder immediately. They gave her support. Also, she got support from Basra. She got support, from the ex-governor of Basra. She got support from many other people. And she set out from Mecca on her own with Talha and Zubair as her two advisors and her two generals of her army. And they had agreed to go to Basra and make Basra the base of the operations and to bring to account the people there, because Basra, the people of Basra and Kufa and also Egypt, they were the ones that were responsible for the murder of Uthman. So she had an army of over 3,000 men. They went to Basra. She tried to get the governor, who had been appointed by Ali now as governor, to turn over the rebels to her. He refused. Fighting emerged. Aisha did not want to fight. She tried to resolve this peacefully. She let them know, well, we didn't come here to fight. We came here to seek justice for what the people of Basra who were guilty of murder did to Uthman. And since you won't turn him over, what can we do? Let's reach some type of agreement. But the rebels created more fitna, and as a result, fighting ended up emerging. And to make a long story short, Aisha was victorious. She had gained control over Basra, and as a result, she had brought to justice all the people that they deemed responsible for his murder. Over 600 men were executed. Over 600 men were executed for playing a role in the murder of Uthman. And after Aisha had got her vengeance in Basra, she sent a letter to Muawiyah, letting him know that she was successful in Basra. It was now his turn to step up to the plate. She was handing the reins of leadership over to Muawiyah, who was the governor of Syria, who was also a supporter of wanting vengeance for Uthman immediately. In the meantime, Ali heard about what had happened in Basra. He had camped out in a small town named Rabda because he had hoped to cut Aisha off from reaching Basra, because he had heard that was her plan, to leave Mecca and go to Basra. Basra, so he had tried to intercept her, but he was too late. She had already arrived in Basra. And when he arrived in Rebda, that's when he heard what had happened. She had arrived in Basra, she had executed men responsible and etc. So now Ali was faced with a new dilemma. He wanted to resolve this stuff peacefully too. But he didn't have an army large enough. He didn't have the support that Aisha had. He only had 900 men to support him and his army, whereas Aisha had over 3,000. So Ali appealed to the people of Kufa. And he let them know, we don't want to fight other Muslims. We don't want to fight Aisha, but we have to have an army, just in case something emerges. And I need you guys to support me as a caliph. The governor of Kufa refused. That was Abu Musa Ash'ari. Ali ended up sending his son Hassan to speak to the people of Kufa, because the people respected Hassan because he was the grandson of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Hassan gave a nice speech. The people offered their support to Ali, and Abu Musa Ash'ari stepped down as governor and left. And that's where we stopped off in a nutshell. That's just a summary. To get caught up, make sure you guys listen to the previous lectures. But this is where we're going to be beginning today. Ali's march. Okay, when Abu Musa Ash'ari left Kufa, when the people of Kufa decided to support Ali, Ali then set up his government there. Ali then left Rabda and went to Kufa and made Kufa his base. So instead of ruling as the caliph from Medina, he was now going to rule as the caliph from out of Kufa, because he didn't have the support of the people of Medina that he needed. He didn't have the support of the people in Mecca he needed. The only people that he had to support him were the people of Kufa. So he set up his base there. Okay? And his son Hassan gave a magnetic speech urging the people to support his father. The people listened to Hassan because he was like a celebrity and a hero to everyone. And so within no time, 10,000 men came forward to support Ali and join his army. So remember, Ali, when he first left Medina, all he had was 900 men. Now he had 10,000 because of the people of Kufa. Okay? Ali met with the men of Kufa and he welcomed them. He gave a speech to them stating that the Muslim world would never forget how they have come forward in the name of peace. And now the capital of Islam will be switched from Medina to Kufa. Whereas, like I said, Aisha made Basra her base. He now made Kufa his. Okay? So that's where Ali got his support. But was he happy? No, he was not. Why was it that Ali was not happy? Because what did the people of Kufa do, guys? Most of the men who offered their support to him, they were the rebels themselves who had played a role in murdering Uthman. So even though Ali now had an army of over 10,000 men, even though he now had the support he needed, he wasn't happy with who he had for support. Could he really trust these men? These were the men who killed Uthman, most of them. So he couldn't trust them. There were a few veteran warriors, okay, who had Abu Bakr and Umar. They came forward too. He could trust them. But most of the men of his army from Kufa, he couldn't trust because they were responsible. They were the ones responsible for rebelling against Uthman. So even though Ali had the support he needed, the army he finally needed, he wasn't happy with it. and that bothered him. Also, another thing that bothered Ali was, again, he did not want to really kill any other Muslim, just like Aisha didn't. It was never the intention of Ali nor Aisha to bring any bloodshedding amongst the Muslims. They wanted to resolve everything peacefully. Aisha wanted the people, the rebels, to be turned over for justice, and Ali just wanted to end this fitna peacefully for justice. Okay, so, two things worried Ali. He had an army, but most of the men in the army were comprised of rebels who had killed Uthman. And the second thing that worried him was, how could he bring this fiasco without bloodshed amongst the Muslims? So Ali gave a speech to his army, letting them know that they were going to leave Rabda and go to Basra. But he let them know that he wanted to do everything in his power to avoid war. He let the men know that he wanted to end this crisis peacefully. And after he gave his speech, guys, word spread throughout the rest of the Bedouin territories. And many of the Bedouin tribes came and offered their services and their allegiance to Ali too. So as Ali rolled out of Rabda, many other Bedouin tribes joined up with him. And guess how large his army was now? Now he went from originally having an army of just 900 men to now 20,000 strong. So as Ali began the march to Basra to try to stop what was going on and try to end this fiasco peacefully, other Arabic tribes joined in the army, and now he went to an army of over 20,000. And also, guys, as he was on his way to Basra, he met up with Uthman ibn Hanif. He was the one who used to be the governor of Basra. He was the one that Aisha had imprisoned and Aisha had overthrown. Remember, he had been taken captive by Aisha, and the men had tortured him and shaved off his beard. Well, he ended up, Aisha found out he was being tortured. She had him released and let go. So he had left Basra, and so now he ran into Ali. Remember, Ali had told him to try to keep Aisha there and try to hold off until he got, well, now he hooked up with him. When Ali found him, he was half dead. And when Ali found him, he looked at Ali. He said, "Oh, commander of the believers," he said, "look what they did to me. You sent me to Basra with a beard, but now I return to you disgraced. They shaved off my beard." This was an Arabic thing. To shave a man's beard was to disgrace him. Ali comforted him, told him that his services in the cause of Islam would never be forgotten. And Ali tried to make him feel better. He said, "Well, look here. When you left me, you was an old man. When I made you governor of Basra, you was an old man when you left Madina." He said, "But look at you now." He said, "Now you've come back to me a young man." So he tried to make him feel better. So Uthman ibn Hanif ended up joining Ali's army after Ali had picked him up and treated his wounds and all that. And so now he was with Ali, and they were on their way to Basra. So now we see Ali has a large supporting. And by the way, guys, Aisha has a large one too. She originally had 3,000 men, but now that she had overtaken Basra, she had more. She had more than 3,000 men, because a lot of the Bedouins over there and the men over there joined with her. So now they had an equal army to face each other, even though both of them did not want to fight. That was not the intention of Ali or Aisha to ever fight. They wanted to resolve this. Okay? On the way to Basra, Ali happened to pass by a soothsayer. And when they passed by the soothsayer, The soothsayer said that he saw blood flowing down the sands of the sands of the desert. This made Ali angry. Remember when Aisha was making her march to Basra, remember she passed by the barking dogs, which reminded her of the hadith of the Prophet about how the time will come when the streets of Medina will rain with blood. Well, here we have another incident that unraveled Ali. You know, this soothsayer saying the sands of the desert will rain from blood from both sides. So Ali got angry and cursed that man. Also, remember we talked about how when Aisha left from Mecca to Basra, the hypocrites began to argue as to who would become caliph, either Talha or Zubair. And remember, some of the people defected. They didn't want to be bothered with that. Well, guess what? As Ali made his route to Basra, he ran into a couple of tribes, the tribes of Rabia and the tribes of Abu Qais, okay, who had joined up with Aisha originally but withdrew. Well, guess what? Ali welcomed them and they ended up joining Ali's army too. And as Ali made his way to Basra, that's when he received news that Aisha had taken control and all people who were suspected of having participated in the murder of Uthman, she had them all executed. When Ali heard that news, he said, Subhanallah, now that they have taken Qisas and killed the people who they consider guilty of murdering Uthman, he said, what more do they want? Why don't they just leave Basra? He said, oh God, rid me of Talha and Zubair. So here you can see Ali still blamed Talha and Zubair. They were still blaming Talha and Zubair for creating all of this fiasco, for involving Aisha and all of this. So when Ali got the word that they had executed the 600 men, he said, well, why ain't they leaving? If it was all about seeking vengeance for Uthman, they got their vengeance. So why don't they withdraw from Basra and go back home? He said, this is all Talha and Zubair's doing. He said, what is wrong with them? Why are Talha and Zubair creating all this mischief? Okay. So he continued along his way, and when he finally reached Basra, Ali camped outside the city. His army was so large, over 20,000 strong. His army was so large that the camp was spread over several miles. Other tribes in the neighborhood had also joined his army. But Ali gave commands to everyone. He said, we have come in peace. He said, I come in peace. I do not want to make war with Aisha and Talha and Zubair. He said, I'm letting you guys know we have this army as a following, but I am going to do everything in my power to make peace. He said, no fighting is to be resorted to at all. He stressed the same thing to his men, his supporters, that Aisha had stressed to hers. So what happened? He was now outside of Basra. What was going to happen? Was Aisha's army going to come to meet his? And still, what about Muawiyah? Remember, Muawiyah was supposed to be on his way from Syria. Aisha had sent him the letter putting the leadership in his hands. Did fighting occur? Did they resolve this peacefully? Did anybody get killed? We'll pick up tomorrow. So we'll stop right here for today. Again, if there's anything that is confusing, any questions you have, anything that is not clear, please make sure you guys ask questions, because I don't want you guys to get lost or confused. So we'll stop right here. Tomorrow I'm going to give you a quiz to cover what we discussed today. Please make sure you guys are here for the quiz. Subhanakallahumma.